Okay, Dave, so what have we got this month?
This month we've got a Korg Poly-800 that's had a can of Coke spilled into it, which is probably a fate it deserves because they are absolutely horrible synths. The Korg were always very good at build quality up until they got to this, and it was, my theory is it was a rush job because the 106 came out and they said we've got to do one of these, and it was done. It's a real mad scientist job inside. It's if we look inside it, almost all the circuitry in here has actually got nothing to do with making it work. It's got nothing to do with the sound. It's all to do with not having buttons on the front. They were saving money basically. For instance, this little chip here, that is the filter and all the VCAs, all the voltage controlled amplifiers. There's another one over here which is all the oscillators, and everything else is about controlling it. It's what's wrong with this one is it actually had a can of Coke spilled into it, which you can see it's all brown here, and it's actually eaten away some of the tracks on the on the circuit board. So it's a question. Luckily, we are. This is actually going to have a mod put into it called the Korg 800 mod, which is part firmware and part hardware. So a lot of this board will be going anyway. So it's not. But what happens at the moment is that when you try moving the controls, you just get random hieroglyphs coming up on these numbers, and it's hard enough to work out what's going on anyway. But without, so it's it's the other thing is the at the moment it's chorus effect. Again, it's this one here, and that's actually well, that's what drives it, and that's been eaten away by Coca-Cola. So it's, luckily that's an easy to get part, but the rest of it is basically very early computer technology being made to do things it really didn't want to do. And it's been built up. It's rather than being done as an overall plan. It's we've got to get this bit to work, but now we've got to make that work. So we add this bit, and it's just this long chain of random electronics. It's horrible. I suppose its saving grace is it was one of the first keyboards to actually have MIDI, although it's not got full MIDI, so it's got no system exclusive system. So although it will store patches, you can't actually save them except through the old tape system. Although if you've got one and you want to save patches, you can very successfully back up your patches into your computer sequencer just as an audio track. Okay. It works perfectly well. You don't want to listen to it because it's like an old modem starting up. But you can actually save from the tape output directly into your computer and just record it as an audio track.
They were the days, eh?
Yeah.
Saving stuff onto cassette.
But yeah, so that's about it really. There's not much.
And we can't listen to this because it's still too ill.
It's still very, very ill. But yeah, the whole build quality is just horrible. I mean, the shielding is a piece of silver cardboard which is attached by a resistor. So there, I mean, that is. That's someone thought, oh dear, it's got a hum. How are we going to cure that? And they've and that's what they've done. What are slightly better are the Mark II version. The Mark II version had full MIDI, and although apart from that it was meant to be the same, it's the circuitry is actually radically different, and it's much more sensible, but it still sounds horrible.
So you don't want to hear it anyway.
No, it's also.
So when it came out, we were saying earlier, it cost about 800.
About 800 to 850. That kind of price.
And we remembered, Paul and I, who are from Electronic Sound, we remembered buying one of these in the 80s for about 400, we reckoned. And you reckon by the 90s?
By the 90s, I know someone. This one was actually bought in 1926. 1992. For £20, and it was used. I think he used it for a bit, but it's been stuck in an attic for ages.
And if you wanted to get one now, like all,
if you want to get one,
synths,
I mean, they're not fetching huge sums of money, but they're still fetching a good £300-400 in
right.
good condition, which
Yeah.
is. Well, I suppose if you like them, you like them. It's, but I think you can do a lot better. Yeah.
So would you say Coca-Cola is the #1 synthesizer killer on the face of the planet?
More or less, yes. It's evil stuff. Although it is a good way. It's if you're making up your own printed circuit boards, it is something you can use to clean off the etching mask afterwards. It's that good.